welcome back to another episode of All That to Say.
That's right. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
How you doing, Corey?
Buddy, I am as good gets, as they say. How about you?
I am excited.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What are you excited about?
Having fun. I am. This is gonna sound really bad.
I doubt it.
I'm excited. I get to go to Chicago this week.
Okay.
I'm excited to be alone. And I know that sounds really bad. But not because I wish my wife could go.
Yes.
But I was like, the other day, I was like, I don't remember the last time I was alone for more than like a couple hours. And not just from my wife, but at work or anything. Like, I don't ever get time alone. And I was like, I'm going to be alone for 5 days.
I totally get it.
And I was like, part of it's scary, but part of it's like, what am I going to do with myself?
So, what are some things? So, since you'll be by yourself, are there some things that you're gonna want to do or go do?
I really want to get Chicago pizza, authentic Chicago pizza while I'm up there.
That's an interesting topic.
What?
So, when you go to New York, they talk about getting official New York pie, New York pizza,
which is like thin. Right?
Well, see, now you've just opened up the interesting topic.
The can of worms.
No, not just that. It's just everybody has a different opinion of what is New York. Thin. I went to a place in New York where it was like it was like they took two slices on top of each other.
Okay.
So like a sandwich.
Like a pizza sandwich.
Uh-huh. And they're like, that's official. That's official New York pie right there. And in Chicago, I'm curious to see what you get as official Chicago style pizza, because I feel like it's the same there.
I'm thinking like deep dish,
Yeah, but I'm curious to see if there's any others that are like this is Chicago pizza right here.
Yeah, I don't know. That's like one of the things I was like. I also thought about going to see a movie by myself.
I was literally going to ask you, will you go see a movie by yourself?
It's because it's just been like I don't know. It's just like one of those things. Is like when you're by yourself, you go see a movie.
I would. I love going to movies
by yourself.
But I love to go to movies by myself.
Yeah, and it just seems like
nothing against going with a group of people, okay? But I love to go by myself where no one's talking. I can completely focus on the movie, and it's just so. Will you go to any like museums?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know about that, but I just thinking about it, and I was like, this is gonna be weird.
Yeah,
I'm kind of excited. Kind of like, I mean, I'll miss my wife dearly.
I feel like it's that bittersweet thing where there's an excitement, but you also feel bad for being excited because you're not really. It's not that you don't want to be with the person.
Yeah,
it's just like.
But it's I'm gonna have like complete freedom with my evenings and like do whatever I want. I might just play video games the whole time.
Are you taking the system?
I am.
Let's go. I can't wait.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
Take my system.
Except for
I'll be an hour ahead.
Yeah.
Or behind?
No. Wait, an hour behind technically.
Hour behind.
Yeah, when it's 8 here, it's 7 there.
So.
And but that's fine. They'll be in the good window.
Yeah.
When it doesn't get crazy, it's not super sweaty.
Here, it's 7 there.
Yeah.
So at 6, you'll be on playing.
Nah, probably not. For you.
For 6, it'll be 6 for you. Me.
But
so
maybe
I can
not.
play from 6 to.
And then you go see
6
a movie.
8, and then I can go see a movie.
Yeah. Well, we'll
go
just
get
see
some pie.
There's a couple of those days I'll be gone as well, so I don't know if I don't know what I'll be doing, but I'm excited for you. I also understand your statement of like I'll miss her, but I'll be able to do these things, which is good. So
it's like it's been a while. So.
I spent the first almost 10 years of my marriage traveling and being gone a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm at a point now where I don't necessarily look for. So I'm getting ready to go to Israel.
Yeah.
It's a phenomenal opportunity of a lifetime, actually. And yet there is a major part of me dreading going without Michelle.
Yeah.
So, in fact, it was really a wrestle with me of even accepting the invitation to go.
this is the first time since we've been married
Did
that
you
we'll
go?
be apart from each other for more than like a night. Like, I
How-
don't even think a night, honestly.
Yeah.
I think probably like max of like 12, 15 hours.
So
16, you know.
how will she do?
She, um, she started crying last night, thinking about me not being around,
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I could see that.
which was just like,
Not a surprise at all.
which is just like, I was like, it's okay. It's like 4 days. And she's like, I'm not going to see you for 4 days. What if something happens? I'm like, nothing gonna happen, you know, like, you know,
Get that shotgun out, girl.
yeah, you got plenty of guns. You got, we got hidden guns all around the house. You'll be fine. She's like, but what if something happens to you? And I'm like, nothing's going to happen to me.
Chicago's not that dangerous.
Yeah, I'm not going to Detroit.
Detroit's really not even that dangerous. There are areas and pockets of just about anywhere, in any big city, USA, where you probably shouldn't go.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you can go just about anywhere.
I
So
mean,
that's how people feel about California. Like, I won't go to California. It's like, okay, there's not crazies everywhere,
yeah,
you know.
there are actually.
Well, everywhere is a big term.
Yeah.
There are crazies in a lot of places. What are we talking about today, other than your trip?
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you a question and get your input on it. How do you gauge your success? And let me back up. How do you gauge your success in balancing work life?
With personal life?
Yeah, work and life.
Okay.
How do you balance?
I got to look at a note because I literally was just writing something about
How do you
success the other day.
balance? How do you balance work life, and how do you gauge your success in it?
Okay. Hang on for a second. Let me look at something. I just was making a note
About
success. Mm-hmm.
Wow. See, I knew this would line up.
I make a lot of notes, and so I'm not sure exactly where did I write it? Redefine. I was talking about redefining what we call success based on what the word defines as success. And I was really coming from the standpoint, I was looking at Jesus talks about less and great, like those that will be less and those will be great. So a little bit different concept. Success. How do I?
Let me back up. How do you balance work and life?
Okay.
Work life, and
So-
then how do you gauge your success
Yes.
in that?
I think that so the biggest part of it is that changes all throughout your life.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I was like, when you're young and you're going to school and maybe you have a job and maybe you play sports, right? You've got to balance keep your grades up, being able to graduate high school and think about, what the future holds for you. Be good at your sport. If you're in an extracurricular activity, let me not just blanket sports, but if you're in an extracurricular activity, how you can do well at it. If you're doing a job, how you can do well at it, right? And a lot of that has to do with time management. That's the biggest part of it is time management. And so my success, as a young person would be when I didn't utilize or not unsuccessful was when I didn't feel the peace or I felt the anxiety of I'm behind. I'm a huge procrastinator, right? For some reason, I've convinced myself that I perform best under pressure and I do my best work under pressure. And that's absolutely not true. So when I feel that anxiety of like, oh my gosh, I waited till the last minute to do something, I don't feel successful. Right? When I know that I time manage myself well enough that I can do things well And I don't mean just well as in like people give you an attaboy or people like pat you on the back and give you accolades and how great you are. But I know that I did my level best at whatever it was. I wasn't lazy. I didn't. I mean, there were a lot of times. I played sports. There were a lot of times I got lazy and I could have run a route better. I could have blocked better. Success was coming back to the huddle and being able to look at someone across from me or beside me and go, I gave 100% of my effort to what we just did.
Yeah.
And I was a team player in that moment. The unsuccessful was I looked at someone and go, I literally didn't pull my weight. Right? So that's young. And then you go into building a career, and then you start having kids. And then so that whole dynamic changes, especially with building a career, because sometimes that's where our first out of whack goes, where we just go all in and it's all about work. It's all about being quote unquote
the best.
Not just the best, but like successful in the eyes of culture, right? Successful in how much money I make, how high up the ladder I climb,
Right.
Titles that come along with that, opportunities. And so I can remember a lot of times success was very materialistic and very culture relevant. And that's how I measured success. And it was wrong, right? As I got more mature, you start going, when you have kids, that success is when they look at you and go, Dad, why are you never here? Okay, I'm not being successful, right? When my wife has needs, and somewhere along the line, men seem to think that the only need a woman has to do with in the bedroom, right? And so if I'm successful in there, or we're good in there, then we're good everywhere, and that's just not true. And the reality is am I meeting emotional needs? Does she feel safe? Does she feel well cared for? Does she feel loved? Are her love languages, is her tank being filled, so to speak? Mm-hmm. So you start learning how to balance your job so that it's not the most important thing to you. How to be a father where you are not just the king of the household, so to speak. Where I'm tired. You guys should go to bed because I really don't want to deal with you tonight, and I'm tired. I've worked hard today to put bread on the table, and whatever. So when those mindsets hit, that's not successful. Grow past that. I'm in a stage now where I'm empty nesting, and you're really asking me in this moment. But I wanted to kind of clarify that there are stages of how you see success, and it really has to do with what's going on around you and who you are responsible for, who you're leading. As a pastor, is leading a church, leading a flock of people, leading a staff, our do something ministry, our recovery ministry where you're trying to have impact on lives, our documentary that we go around and do screenings and do Q&A panels and stuff like that. I'm probably the busiest I've ever been in my life. And success to me is when I see someone catch a glimpse of the Father's love for them, their call in life, their gifting. When the light bulb goes on of a concept or something in the Bible that didn't make sense to them, where they're like, where a light bulb goes off and goes, I totally connect and understand that now. It changes everything for me, right? Or where I get to hear stories of people who were in addiction and now they're like, I'm 12 days sober. And I'm like, that's awesome. Let's celebrate that. Or I'm 12 years or, whatever that number is. When we're doing things, Unsuccessful to me is when it becomes just busy work and I'm not passionate about it. Um, Being an empty nester is completely different because you have a lot of this, what people call, well, you're just sitting around doing nothing. You got all this free time. You don't have to take care of a kid. You're not changing diapers. You're not running them around to basketball. Well, one, I'd back up 5-10 years in a heartbeat to do all that again and be overwhelmed with being busy for my kids and running all over the place. And I can't think of hardly any parents anywhere that wouldn't do that. I'd back up again and build a career because I love the success. To me was learning, right? Like learning. Success today is when I feel fulfilled, when other people grow, when I see them become better, when I see them walk into their stuff, whatever their good stuff, the things that God's calling them to. Unsuccessful is when the anxiety gets too high, when when they call it burnout, right? People say things burnout. What it is it's unsuccessful is when I realize something just got out of balance. Whatever it is, I choose to do the things that I do. Right. I mean, back when we were first married, I was thinking about this last night. There was a young man that was came across with this real entitled, like, I wasted my time with my addiction and now I'm behind the 8 ball and, I can't get ahead at these kind of wages type scenario. And I'm like, dude, look, when I came out of school, I didn't struggle with addiction, but yet the wage that I was earning was so low that I had to do side jobs. I had to do extra. I had to go above and beyond to make that extra dollar, that extra whatever in order for us to have food on the table, pay the rent, put gas in the car and, all the things it takes to live. And I was thinking about that last night and I thought, those are hard moments and yet they made me who I am today, right? That's success. I didn't give up. Success to me is not giving up. Success is having resilience. Success is pushing through. Success is seeing other people. Like I love teaching other people. I loved where I used to train people to do things. I would train people how to build stores or how to, do construction or train people how to like take off blueprints or how to project manage. It's like everywhere I've gone, to me, I always measure that. If I'm not doing those things, that's not success. Right? So success is a big word and it has a whole lot of caveats to it. And I think it's super hard to measure, but you have to look at yourself. I could be really happy and say I'm successful, if I had certain things. But is that true? Is that really true? And so I probably have because of my jobs, because of what I do and the time that I have, I don't have a 9 to 5 anymore. Mm-hmm. Right? So success used to be being the guy that was 15 minutes early. Because if you show up on time, you're actually late. Right? You show up 15 minutes early, do your talking, you build relationship with people, have that time. And then we get in and we work. And you work and you do your thing and then you go home and you have your family time. I don't have that anymore. So, what used to be successful, I know I'm a little bit all over the place on this and I apologize, but it's a huge topic from the simple standpoint of like every season has different elements of what you have, and you have to find out what it is for yourself. And I don't know how to measure that. And I don't know if I answered your question.
Here's why I posed the question. I think that there are a lot of people. Society has defined success as like, there's this image of success that looks a certain way.
Yeah.
And that there are a lot of people that think, I'm not successful because I don't have this, or this isn't how I see myself, or this isn't how I'll never make it to that point. And so I think that the reason I raised the question is, what is success, is that people walk around a lot of times defeated because they have a false standard of success.
Well, it's the American dream. American dream is that you're gonna have it's the land of opportunity, and it's gonna be easy, and you're gonna make all this money, and you're gonna have all this quote unquote success. You're gonna feel good because you're gonna have things,
Right.
right? And you got the 22-year-old who is like, I don't own a house yet. The reality is you might need to stock money away and do what you got to do till you're like 30 or 34 or 40 or 50 and then buy a house. There are some people in this world that don't believe owning a house is success because they have the mindset of like, well, I'm going to die and I'm not leaving it to anybody. Right. So I'm going to enjoy life. So instead of having all of the problems that come along, and I shouldn't say it that way, all of the stuff that comes along with home ownership, I'm just going to rent. I'm going to call someone to come fix something, and I'm going to go enjoy life. Where someone else's success is if I don't own a home by the time I'm 25,
I'm behind the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think you bring up a great point. That's our culture huge right now, where there's, you watch your parents and they go, well, okay, they have they've done their time. Now they're actually starting to kind of live a little, do things. They actually starting to maybe like have some things in life. And by things, I mean like, maybe they drove a beater car for the longest time because that's what they could afford. But now all of a sudden they got a new car, or they, get their dream vehicle or whatever, or, maybe they have a vacation home somewhere, or they're just able to take a vacation at all. Right. And, I think success for some people is just the ability to even take a vacation.
The freedom to do
the financial ability to do that. Talk about try to take a family to Walt Disney right now.
Yeah.
Disney World or whatever. Right? It's crazy. But we have to not see the culture as our standard for success. And that's hard to do when we are flesh who likes tangible things, you got some people who are like, I want to have a super nice car. I want a super nice house. I want really nice clothes. I want all the gadgets in my kitchen, right? I want the Mac Daddy, whatever that thing is. Someone who's like really into Legos, and there's like, I'll buy every Lego thing there is and put it together. You see those people, right?
Right.
What you don't see behind that is the hard work that they're doing to earn the money. I love saying this. I love the idea that I can work hard and get adult money, and I get to do what I want. However, that's a big statement, because what I want is not necessarily going and buying things.
Right.
I get to go buy food so I can eat. I get to have internet, first world problems. You ask that question about success, and I instantly start thinking about the gospel. This concept of the American dream gospel versus the apostolic gospel. I'm not going to get into that. We'll save that for another podcast. But we live in a world where the American dream is it's the leader on just about everything that we do. It's how we see things. It's why people stay in jobs they hate, because they think I got to climb the ladder in order to get somewhere, to get some title that it's going to make me feel good. And that's why America is one of the most addictive cultures in the world, because we are surrounded by this measure of quote unquote success that is based on things, material items. So, again, I don't know if I'm answering your question.
No, I think you did. I think
I've talked for a long time. I'm sorry. You haven't talked at all. So
no, it's good. I think the point I was trying to make is that success is so varying and it's so personal.
Nick,
And
does anybody really even know what they think is success versus what they've been told is success?
right. I mean, the point I was trying to make with this question was really to see what your thoughts on it were, which you had a lot. Um,
Right or wrong, they're my thoughts.
yeah, they're your thoughts. But I think about success a lot, and I think as I've gotten older, I mean, older. I'm 30.
That's older.
Um, I was in that corporate ladder. I'm still in that corporate ladder to some extent. Um, and I was in that corporate ladder when I was, from 20 to 21 to, 20, after I got married, even the past couple years, and then
Right.
I really the last few months, I've started thinking about what does it make me successful? Do I feel successful in the role I'm in? Do I feel successful because of where I'm at, or do I feel successful because I get to go home to Jasmine?
Absolutely. It's a great that is.
Because I get to provide for her,
Mhm.
and I don't know. I, for the longest time, I thought, I'm not successful at my job because I'm not perfect. And that's what I was, that's where like this measure of like, I'm not perfect at doing these things, and I'm not a perfect planner, or all these small faults that I would like, small mistakes or things I would overlook, and be told I wasn't great at my job,
Mm-hmm.
or be told that I wasn't measuring up to where I was expected to be.
Sure.
And so, but in the past few months, it's been more of a, I've been the boss, and I haven't, I told one of my guys the other day, it's like he applied for a new job, a new position with the same company, and I said, "Do you really want it?" And he said, "Yeah, I really want it. I really want to go do this." And I said, "Then I'll do everything I can to help you, even though you're leaving my team
Right.
to go do it. I'll do
Right.
everything I can to help you do it." And he said, "Why?"
Because that's success.
"Because I want you to do whatever."
Right.
And then they reached out to me, and like the job reached out to me and was like, "Hey, what are your recommendations about this person?"
Well, most people don't want to lose good people, so they would have said, "Nah,"
But I said to him, I said, I sent him an email after I sent the thing, and I said, "Hey, just so you know, I just gave you a glowing review. Don't make me look like a fool." And he
Put
said,
it back on him.
he said he came back from PTO, and he read my email. I was so in our office, there's an inner office, and there's a door that shuts in between the offices, and there's an outer office, and then there's a door that leads like out into the like back room. And he was in the middle room, and I was in the inner office, and he just says, "I won't make you look like a fool, Nick," because he hadn't read it yet. And I was like, and but I said, "Do you want it?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, I'm going to do everything I can to help you get it."
Yeah.
And I get there,
Yeah.
and I think the point I'm trying to make is that as as I'm getting older, success isn't about me anymore.
I'm going to counter that though. It is. And let me say it. My opinion is the thing about me. So I was going to say I measure success all the time is when I'm still learning.
Yeah.
As long as I'm still learning, that's successful to me, and it is about me to learn.
Right.
But it is about other people.
Yeah,
Right?
that's what success for me is becoming. How can I help these people get to where they want to be, instead of how can I get to where I want to be? Like obviously, I want to be. There are things I want to do in life, and there's things I have to do to get there. But it's becoming more and more of how can I help these people get to where they want to be, instead of just about me.
Well, I mean, that goes back to like it always feels good to give gifts, right?
Right.
I mean, fact is, a lot of times it's more rewarding to give the gift than it is to get the gift. I love what you're saying. I totally agree with you. I mean, that's really what it's about. It's about others.
I think
So-
that, but the problem is that we talk about cultures like it's all about me,
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And so I think it's hard for people to grasp the concept of like, I don't want to lose somebody good on my team, but if I can help them get to where they dream of being, Like if I can help them, like, this guy is going for a dream role. I mean, in a corporation, like a big corporation, to work Monday through Friday.
Right.
I mean, he's going for a dream role. And in reality is he's going to teach people how to be better at their jobs. That's what he wants to do.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, he's like, this is what I want to do. This is my dream job with this company, other than to be the CEO. And I'm like, well, good luck.
Might find he doesn't want to be the CEO with all the pressure that comes along with that. But
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he's like, other than being the CEO of this company, this is like my dream job with the company. And I'm like, then do it, go for it. I'll support you. And I think that as I'm getting older, I just think that success is less and less about how good I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And how well I support my people.
Totally agree. It's selfish to hold people back.
Yeah.
I've worked with people like that, and where I've challenged them, like, why would you hold them back from achieving their dream or achieving their things that they want in life? Like, I don't know how you can be comfortable with that, but
I don't know how you can sleep.
Well, they sleep very well apparently, because they did.
I don't know how you can sleep, because I was like, I can't, I don't, like, even if I didn't want to lose you.
Yeah. Well, I think the bigger side to that is you can't look at people as possessions and that lose or own you, right?
Right.
I mean, the reality is you don't own anybody. You don't have the choice if you're going to lose or take someone. Fact is, if you really want to keep them, you got to pour into them and point them to where they're gonna thrive. Because when they thrive, then that actually makes that, it doesn't just make them successful. It just makes them whole in who they're supposed to be, which actually helps you be who you're supposed to be.
Right.
I think a lot of times we like to place people around us so that they'll do all the work and we can just look good. Right. I just look like a really great boss because I got all these people that I'm micromanaging and
that are actually way better than I'm letting them
be. Exactly. Absolutely. I mean, I think it's all around us. I think that you got the pendulum to the other side where you've got young people, or I shouldn't say young people, you got people who are like not willing to work,
right?
Not willing to work hard, not willing to sacrifice, not willing to pay their dues, so to speak, and learn. The whole 10,000 hours, right? Right. It takes 10,000 hours, which is about 5 years, to become a master at something. Right? A lot of people don't look at and go, I'm putting in my time to work how to be a master. The flip side to that is I'll watch people get to 6, 7, 8 years in their work, right? Whatever their trade is, whatever thing that they're doing, and won't act like a professional because they're frustrated because they think now that they've reached a certain level, they're owed something. Right? You're holding me back from being successfully financially because I'm owed a certain thing.
Right.
All right. Well, act professional then. Carry yourself in a professional manner. Treat people like you're a professional. Dress like you're professional. Operate professionally. So I got all kinds of thoughts on these things right here. But, I've got a lot of years where I've watched a lot of people have lots of golden opportunities in front of them for peace and enjoyment in life, and not just financial success. Financial success is fleeting. It comes and goes.
Right.
It's nice to own things. It's nice to have things. It's way better to watch people live out their dreams and become successful in the eyes of, their coworkers or their, those that are above them. Like that's where it's fun. If I'm not learning, what's the point? If I'm not becoming better at something, what's the point? And that's across the board. So, well, all that to say,
success is more of just a personal thing, and we have to kind of define it for ourselves and, think about others when we're, growing and, not just take that American dream and try to run around with it and chase it. I mean, there's no point in chasing an American dream. It's more of a nightmare.
That's right. No, it's good stuff. Appreciate it.
All I have to say, we'll see you later, guys.
That's right. We're out.